we are. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am waiting for something to come off the printer that will help me with writing my first poem today. So I'm going to run and get that off the printer. Let's start out with a reading, though, this morning. I have been thinking more about reading and trying to do more poetry reading on these streams. And I think that a good tradition to start would be to start every stream, which is someone else's poem other than mine. I literally just turned to a random page in Aimless Love, which is by Billy Collins, who is a much better poet than I. I am actually going to read something different. I have over here a short poem about watercoloring, just to kind of spark the poetic mood for the morning. Watercoloring by Billy Collins. The sky began to tilt, a shift of light towards the higher clouds. So I seized my brush and dipped my little cup in the stream. But once I streaked the paper gray with a hint of green, water began to slide down the page, rivulets looking for a river. And again I was too late. Then the sky made another turn, this time as if to face a mirror, held in the outstretched arm of a god. Watercoloring by Billy Collins. So this morning, the main project that I want to work on this morning is to write the draft for a poem for a couple that I might be doing a wedding for. And so what they did is they sent me an email of their all the stuff about them, and I'm going to work on trying to pack that into a nice little poem draft, which would be revised, a celebration poem for their wedding. So I'm going to load that in. Now, I will be omitting names, obviously. This couple has been together for 12 years. They are only just getting married. They are from the same town, but 4 years apart, and were never in school together. Know each other. Youngest of 3 and oldest of 3, respectively. This is the wife writing to me. They do a lot of traveling. Did a 4-country tour of Europe a couple years ago and do annual visits to our favorite beaches. They have a 2-year-old daughter. Hilarious and sweet, but also ornery and feisty. That's wonderful. Golf and yoga. We have lots of high notes here. It's almost like you're talking about wine. You know, we have high notes of golf and yoga, a sprinkle of strong, healthy, but feisty child, spice, but we have a strong underbelly of travel. Package delivery, healthcare, and renovations. So I'm going to start chipping away at this poem, and we'll see what comes out of it. Sometimes the first page when I work on a poem is always just kind of notes based off of that, starting to connect ideas, concepts. I've done this for many poems where sometimes the first outpouring is not even a poem. It's just kind of like liner notes, stuff stuck to the page. And then from that, I can kind of mix, match, rearrange. A lot of writing is getting started. So if you're watching this and you're thinking, how can I write a poem? What do I want to do to write a poem? A lot of writing is just diving in and trying something with it. Does this phrase work? How does it sound? And then using your own intuition, your own preference, even honestly, because we're all human. I'm writing this for another human, so I can assume that human sounds like things that I like as a human. It's a very Stan Lee meaning wave-esque concept, which again, as always, we have our meaning wave Kira the Dawn music as were our intro for our show. That was from the Naval Revcon album, which is a new addition to the library that I've been slowly building for random songs. But so anyway, Stan Lee in the Meaning Wave song talks about how he writes what he likes, and I write what I like. Like I see these things and I say, oh, I want to create something that's really interesting that blends the traveling and the cultures and you know the yoga and the golf. Somehow takes it all and creates a portrait, something that's not too like this and that and everything, you know, like all that here, but very personal to the couple, but also something that would be relational over time. Studying now with a friend poet of mine, the goal is to take these individual poems that work in these individual moments and to see how far we can stretch them. How can we make their half-life stretch longer and longer, you know, so that poem is everlasting. Well, it doesn't start with me rambling, so I'm going to bring back our music and let's get some notes on the page. What do we have playing now? This should be on random, but it's not. Give me a second. For some reason, I think my music is not being... Oh. Hold on a second. Here we go. It's because I'm not playing from the right album. Here we go. The right playlist. Nope. Ah, this is great. There's a lot of energy this morning. And if you are watching and you feel so inclined, feel free to drop in the chat and say hi, or you could just... Oh, we got Wind City Chess here. Good morning. Good morning, David. It is so good to see you on here. I've been talking to my wife, and frankly, it's actually a good thing to announce. I do not know the future of this show because we're going to be really taking a look at what I spend my time on and trying to align and figure out things. I don't want to call the whole show into a potential question or risk, but it's just more how long do I spend doing this? How do I balance what my writing tasks with this? Good morning, Cynical Chill. I know that you and I, David, were talking a little bit about reorientating and balancing. I'm going to jump to our typewriter camera. We're going to start writing. So if you're just tuning in, I am writing a poem for a couple that's getting married. I might be typing at their wedding, so this is part of the creating something personalized for them. Right now, I'm kind of combining, in these 5 lines, I've combined several concepts already that are present in their relationship. Let's see here. I wish that I could. If I turn that off, that makes it a lot better. Okay, good. We have here star fixed across the sky. So there's a lot of traveling that's involved in this real couple. Their daughter's name is Estelle, which is star. So I just kind of have some lines here about traveling, journeying down back roads, which is something that the husband enjoyed doing. Lost parts of the soul, liberate them when in the positions taken. I'm kind of going into a yoga metaphor there. This is not all final copy. It's a little bit of a like a mattering, I guess, like a splattering together of all these things. But this is from which metaphors and ultimately themes will develop. And I am doing research on my phone for this one. Now I'm trying to create a metaphor of a literal yoga position. So this is going to be interesting. I'm trying to figure this one out. Stella May. So there's a part of me that wants to spend all day on poems. Like, I could sit with this poem and spend all day just trying to find the right thing. But I want to make sure that I am also efficient with my time, of course, and not totally just vacuuming up one thing all that time. Stella is a beautiful name indeed. Now, I don't claim this to be a professional way to go about this, but sometimes it's just about getting those ideas flowing. The one thing that I don't have here is how they met, which is always the thing that I love looking for. But that's all right. And welcome to the stream, Turtis. I know that you are might be new in town. Anyway, if you have any ideas, thoughts, I usually do poetry request days on Wednesdays and Saturdays, but not today. He isn't working on this. I stream 6 out of 7 days. When City Chess is asking how many days a week do you stream now, I'm not always consistent with it. I think 2 weeks ago I had a whole week where I took off, but I'm back to kind of doing it every day. We had some time where, believe it or not, I had some major technical issues and you couldn't even watch the stream if you wanted to. It's pretty terrible, actually. But yeah, I now stream that amount of days. So what will happen is probably over the course of 2 or 3 days, I will chip away at this poem, but I will still, do other things in between because I'm finally organized my projects, which is good. So the theme, I'm still kind of trying to chase down the theme of this couple. And I think that the theme, the theme is really journeying. I mean, you don't get married after 12 years if you're kind of if you're not taking life, I don't want to say slowly, but if you are like kind of flowing through it is the way that it feels for me, if that's kind of how it is. Like my wife and I got married after 7 years, but it was different because we wanted to get married earlier. Like we really wanted it. It just was, life wasn't letting us. So we were chomping at the bit, but this definitely doesn't feel that way. It feels more like that things in their time, it's almost like the theme here that I'm feeling is all good things come in their own time. Not that you sit around, you wait and you get nothing, but more like that's the journey part of it. Well, now that I've seized on my theme, I can start to kind of craft the poem around that theme and really make something that is wonderful. Devotion. Broke out the rhyming dictionary. I think I'm ready to take a whack at a full draft here. There's only notes here, so I'm not really going to read them, but you can kind of see what some of the different ideas I was playing with. Journey seems to be one that I went to right away, and I haven't left it. All right. Second while I get more paper and we start on an actual first draft, and that I think will probably take up our time here today since we've been already going for 26 minutes. Good dear. All right. And I'm trying to remember, so funny enough, is I already wrote them a poem, so I got to be careful here, because now I got to make sure I don't write the same poem. It's exactly the feel. So after that... No, I got to work on that, though. Nope. Nope. Because that was... There we go. Sun rising. No, because that's too old. It was a week after that, so it must have been the 12th. There we go. Good morning. I already wrote, I know who I wrote that for. Oh, there we go. Oh, I have their old poem. So now this changes everything. So I found their old poem. And so I'm going to try to connect the two. Which is about heroism. It was kind of the theme there was heroism. Their journey in heroism, makes me think of pirates. I'm not going to write a pirate poem. That would just be ridiculous. But it does make me think that my tendency towards ships, captaining ships, stars in the sky, is going to be really good. And in the poem that I wrote for them originally, I did something weird, which I don't usually do with poems, which is I actually included their names in the poem. It just felt right. So... Oh, I lost it. Oh, I thought I was... September 12th. Can't believe that this was only September 12th that I wrote my first poem. Thank you for everybody that's kept tuning in. Do appreciate you joining us here today. I know that I keep just typing on. A lot of looking at my phone, researching on this one. Running out of space. All right. We have here. Good morning, Twitcher Alex. Welcome to the stream. So I just finished working on this poem. The layout needs a lot of work. At a certain near the end, I just started shoving lines in without really concerning about layout because I wanted to make sure the content all generally fit in terms of what I was doing here. But I do have now a very personal, good poem for a couple who are not named, so we won't be doxing anybody here. But the fact is I have a great poem for this couple about the themes that kind of really resonated were traveling. Traveling is a very easy one. And there are other themes that could filter in here. Yoga takes presence. Traveling, yoga, and then a daughter whose first name is Estelle, which means star. And so we're gonna I kind of interpreted that as star, and then a star on the journey, steady star. So that is how I kind of really interpreted it. So let's read the poem, and then if anybody can give any reactions, it'd be great. If not, no worries. And then that'll be the end of the stream. And then I'll edit it in the intro. Such years have numbered a dozen that you have sailed together, braving weather of those gone before, taking the coast and continent by storm and following a star, bright and beautiful and fierce, with astrolabe of anticipation so rushed into our world, jumping to joy in our journey, so eager to see the world we love. And each new shore, each wave-crested back road helps us find those lost parts of the soul, taking the body positions in front of the camera. Beach recline, rebellious child, and unlocking the sinews to a deeper depth, that the miles are worth millions. The slow but persistent seeing of everything is possible. That our daughter will supernova into the world traveler she was born to be. And we, the same family, will honor the long journey on this port pause of devotion, taking family and friends' emotion with child's wild notion and captain the ship together. And that's the poem. At least that's the really rough draft of the poem. One of the couple works in healthcare, so I really do want to include some references to healthcare in here at a certain point, or a reference. Renovation might be one, because they said renovating a house. So those are things that I think were missed, but I don't think I could shove anything else in here. Expanding the ship. Yep. And so what you all just saw is kind of my process. If you're watching this on the replay, that we took disparate ideas, started building metaphors, and this one's a little bit harder because I've already written for them. So I was and I wanted to be careful about it, but it started kind of blending together, and hence where we're at. So that's exciting. Anyway, thank you all for tuning in. I gotta make a outro splash screen for this. I gotta fix it. And I will be streaming the Akira the Dawn show after this. So it'll be broadcasting on my Twitch. So feel free to check that out if you're so inclined. Thank you all so much, and you have a great day.